The United Nations International Declaration of Human Rights, ratified in 1948, declares that all people have the right to a job, to education, as well as housing. However, 65 years later, in 2013, there are billions of people around the world who live in extreme poverty. At a ceremony commemorating the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty, Shamshad Akhtar, representative of the United Nations Secretary General, addressed this ongoing global problem.
Too many young people lack jobs and the skills that respond to market demands. Rising inequality in many countries, both rich and poor, is fueling exclusion from economic, social, and political spheres. And we know that the impacts of climate change and loss of biodiversity hit the poorest the hardest.
This International Day was proclaimed in 1987 by Joseph Renesky. He organized over 100,000 people against the rising poverty around the world. A commemorative stone was presented at the United Nations. The stone, on display at the UN, is engraved with the words, quote, "Wherever men and women are condemned to live in extreme poverty, human rights are violated. To come together to ensure that these rights be respected is our solemn duty," unquote. Today, even in some of the richest countries on earth, poverty persists. This year's ceremony included testimony from people who had lived in poverty and suffered discrimination as a result.
This is my life. I live in a homeless shelter. I live, I eat, I bleed. Just because my financial situation is a little different than yours doesn't make me any less of a human being, or a responsible person, or a good father or mother.
That was Jose Nunez from Queens, New York. He testified about the difficulty of raising a family while living in a homeless shelter. Melody Walton, a resident of Spanish Harlem, testified about the difficulties faced by people living in low-income areas throughout the U.S.
The quality of foods sold in our supermarkets is nowhere near grade A quality. You purchase something, and if it's not consumed within a day or two, it goes bad, even in your refrigerator. The cleanliness inside the supermarket is unacceptable as well.
The program highlighted that poverty was not something that took place only in underdeveloped countries, but was a global phenomenon. As the economic crisis continues around the world, unemployment, homelessness, and other social ills are on the rise. Those who attended the program say that they will continue to work toward the global eradication of poverty. Caleb Maupin, Press TV, New York.